Okay, folks, Tuesday evening edition of Painting Soviet Stuff. That's strange. It's got like, there we go. Okay, let's get rid of this and see where we're at. So we got a couple SU-100s. These are die cast, and I need to paint the two headlights because I had to remove them for stripping purposes. And here we go. This stuff is oh so messy. But since we discovered something, hand sanitizer will take paint right off. Acrylic paint anyways. That was an excellent find. An excellent discovery. Maybe some people already knew that, but that is super handy because I've got a thing of hand sanitizer down here. That's very handy. All right, we should be able to just use some from here because we need very, very little to go ahead and prime this headlight, which was a plastic piece. We'll just remove this. These actually have screws, and we're going to screw this thing back together when we're done. So we needed to remove these because I had used this stuff called citrus strip to take the paint off, and it will destroy, melt anything that's plastic. So I had to do that and remove this gun because this gun portion is also plastic. The problem with this scenario is one came right off. This one was so difficult to take off that I just opted to not take it off and didn't strip this one. So when we're done, you're going to be able to see what two vehicles look like. One of them stripped, both of them repainted, but one of them stripped, one of them not. And this actually has some really nice detail that ends up getting softened quite a bit by the thick paint that's on there. And you know, it was either that or I was risking breaking the barrel, so I'm like, I just decided to cut my losses and not do that. But you know, I thought about it for a while, and I'm like, what am I gonna do, you know? There's a couple places here that got chipped up a little bit. Okay, and we're going to let that dry, which should not take long, and then we can bring this up to where the other stuff is. So let's close this without making a splash. Put this back. The surface primer's kind of been hanging out here because this is where the I mean, it's been hanging out in the garage. That's where the airbrush is. So we'll see if anybody comes on tonight. It is kind of a later start than normal, but it's either that or don't get any painting done. So I figured it was better than the alternative. I did pick up some new X-Acto blades, not by X-Acto, so we'll see how these turn out. Instead of trying to, you know, pay for supposed legitimate X-Acto blades and not get them, I just opted to just go ahead and just get the crappy ones to begin with. At least I'm not paying a lot of money for them, so hopefully I won't lose an eye over them. And I'm sure they'll dull out sooner, but I got like 120 of them for, I don't know, $8 or something like that. So I guess my daughter found something funny. The other thing that happened is I decided to trim more of the tips on my epoxy, and it's coming out a lot better than it used to. Because it was literally like, you know, a workout trying to get that epoxy out. So the other thing that's nice is even though my cutting board is extremely, Mr. Simpson, welcome. My cutting board is extremely clean by anybody's standards. It still ends up getting a tiny little bits of splashes of paint. I mean, really, really tiny. But now that I know that you can just put hand sanitizer and all that stuff will come off, that is some peace of mind. But I still don't cut on this thing. Mainly because I don't want to look at all this stuff comes right off. Really handy. Well, it's supposed to. Anyhow, I don't like being distracted by it. You know, I didn't even pay for this one. This was like a free one somebody gave me, and I'm still taking care of it. These things are expensive. I don't want to look at something that's all beat up and every time I'm doing some work. So, what else? So there's SU-100s. I was looking at paint schemes for them, and they are pretty darn boring. That they had. So we were going to have to add some panache, as they say, and make them, you know, pop. But let's see if we can't. But here you can. I don't know if you can see on this video. You can see the difference between one that's been stripped and one that hasn't been stripped. Let's see what you guys are seeing. No, we're gonna have to zoom in. I need a little bit of time for these headlights to dry anyways, so. All right. See if we can get them both on the screen here. And let me see what you guys are looking at. Okay, so this is one that has not been stripped. You can see the details that are around these hatches and everything. It's definitely softer as opposed to this one. It's sharp. I mean, it's really, really sharp. And like you can't even make out, let's see, you can't even make out, see these little vents here on the deck? You can't even make them out here. They're almost invisible. But like I said, I wanted to strip them both, but you have to take everything plastic off of it. Or the citrus strip, which has zero smell. And it's a gel type of paint remover. And you just brush it on, and in about half an hour it does its thing and lifts it. And this stuff is really, really thick. But you have to get, you know, like all the barrels and stuff off. That kind of thing, and anything that's plastic. That's why I took these headlights off, and then I just couldn't get one of the barrels off. I couldn't get the barrel of this particular vehicle off, and I tried everything short of beating on it, and I did not want to damage this and have another different type of problem. So this one was not stripped; it was just airbrushed on. And you can tell the thickness of that paint that's on there, and this one is. So it's unfortunate, but I didn't want to have a vehicle without a cannon, or one that I was going to have to, you know, replace. So these are die-cast models by a company called, I want to say it's called Fabri, F-A-B-B-R-I, and you can't tell that by the packaging, because the packaging is, I still have it here, I think. Yeah, the packaging looks like it came from China, and it probably did, but it's got a, I think these are Russian. This is what it came in. This is the packaging it came in. for children above 14 years old. I guess I shouldn't be playing with this. And yeah, it's all written in Russian. And then on the back, yeah, it still says it's made here in Shenzhen, China. But I thought this was a Russian company. Anyways, I picked these things up from an estate sale. I want to say I don't think I paid more than $5 for each one of them. And yeah, we're going to make them look grand. Now, one thing I did do different is I used a different green to paint them. I don't know if it's going to make any difference at all. This is the original Russian green that I got from Vallejo when I got all my Vallejo paints around 2003, something like that. And I still have this one. I haven't painted much World War II stuff since then, so I got plenty of Russian green. When I went to the store, this is number 894. It was repackaged as, now the 894 is up here, and they call it camouflage olive green. And I actually did a test the other day, and on several colors, including the Panzer Gray, which they actually call German Gray, the Russian Green, and the other color that I use a lot, which is chocolate brown. And this is the original color at the top layer, and then the replacement one, the reformulated one. And I'm not sure why the hell they reformulated it, but they did. And just to compare that, if there's an issue. And what I was really concerned about was the chocolate brown. And honestly, you can't tell on this picture, but this one, this is the new green, which is what these are painted in, as opposed to this, which is the old one. But of course, you know, it's got dry brushing and stuff on it as well. So, you know, that's going to kind of mute it a little bit and make them all more similar. But we use this green on the SU-100s. So there was a couple of different green colors that the Soviets used, and, you know, or variances in the color, I should say. All right, you guys dry yet? Dry enough? All right, let's we've got some spots here that are black. Good. All right, we're good. All right, let's get another piece of cardboard that we're going to use to dry brush the Russian green, and then we will start bringing these guys up to where they need to be. I don't know how long I'll be on here, but it's 9:20. I want to get some painting done. I would be ecstatic if I could get these two guys finished tonight, but we'll see how that goes. It will depend on you guys to keep me awake. Went to the gym earlier today when I got home, after I ate and got home. So sometimes that helps keep you awake, sometimes it puts you to sleep. So never know which one of those it's going to be tonight. Okay, and we need a dry brush. Oh, hold on one second. Okay. Interruption here. Hope you have a great night. We got a call. What does that mean? You're an EMT and you gotta go save somebody. Don't leave me. All right, here we go. That was the daughter that needed to show me something. So it happens. It happens occasionally. That's why we like to paint early in the morning when everybody's asleep. Here you can really tell the difference on this color. It's definitely more. It honestly, it look. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the green in like comic books that they use for like army soldiers, like Beetle Bailey's helmet green or something like that. I guess I probably need to zoom out a little bit more. You guys aren't going to see a damn thing. There we go. All right. So let's start off by dry brushing over the black stuff that we painted. And let's get rid of this. Okay. Was there anything else on here that had the black? Yes. This little like toolbox or something back here. Okay. And the nice thing about this method is I can pretty much just continue painting. I don't have to wait for things to dry. And that's when I'm doing my 15s, that's how I operate. I don't wait for things to dry. I just keep moving, And I'm not used to using these washes that you have to wait an hour or so to dry, or sometimes more than an hour. Here we go. This is the other one that had some green stuff on there. And of course the headlight. Some of these die-cast models actually have a fair amount of detail to them, and it's just ruined by this aircraft automotive type sprayed thick lacquer stuff that they put on them. It's really kind of surprising how much effort whoever made the original one. This thing's got as much detail as most models. So, and I don't mind putting the models apart. It's kind of relaxing. But like I said, I picked these up because somebody was no longer on this earth that owned them. So I'm going to try to put them to good use. And I'm really enjoying the hell out of painting these tanks, that's for sure. Okay, so we're going to take this color, we're going to take some of the dark sand, lighten it up some. And I probably shouldn't have done this. I probably should have done this on a shim. It's going to soak a lot up. Well, we're already on this boat. Two wrongs don't make a right, but four do. All right, so we're going to lighten this up a level. And we're going to go on the running gear first. Like I've said before, that's easy to fix if you don't like how it turned out. And the unique thing about this vehicle, it's a T-34 chassis. The unique thing about this vehicle is it does not have a toothed sprocket wheel. The actual, let's see, it's a rubber band track, so it doesn't show it, but the teeth actually are on the inside, and they're every other one. Every other one of these has a tooth that's in the middle, and it rides basically on the center of it. So it seems like it's a better system, honestly. I just watched the video that the Chieftain did on that, and it reminded me all that stuff that I knew about the T-34 chassis. It was an older video. It was like 8 or 10 years ago that he did, and he actually tried doing some comedy with him. I normally don't like him because he's a little too dry for my taste. Not that, I don't appreciate his material, but I like people that you can have fun and learn stuff too. He's a little too clinical sometimes for me. So just a subtle difference. Just a little bit of a subtle difference. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this color in here. And I'm about ready to switch to something else. This thing's soaking up too much of it for the... Maybe we'll just stick with it here. Do the edges. You gotta make sure you get good on the edges. And then we're just gonna go over these. That makes a huge, the biggest thing you can do is to do this on all the edges. Because at a distance, it's just going to look like a big blob. Make those edges stand out. No, I think you've just been fired. We need to go to the wet palette. It's too dry. Even though we're dry brushing, it's too dry. So we're going to come over here. We're going to find our Russian green corner. Well, we're going to use a different Russian green. We'll go to the opposite corner over here. And let's try scooping some of this out. We can salvage some of it. There we go. And let's scoop some of this out. See if we were about in the right vicinity. We were. Okay, cool. All right, back to where we were. It's all on the news that everybody's getting like this big like blizzard coming in the next couple days, and we get a heat wave. Gee, thanks. I don't want a blizzard, but I haven't had enough of all the cold weather. Keep it coming. It's probably over for us. Back to Swamp Ass. So this is an interesting vehicle that didn't enter really service until the snow started falling in 1944. So there's a really short window where you could actually use this without any winter camouflage. Which I'm not necessarily opposed to winter camouflage. I just don't want to go down that path right now, because I would have to create troops that are wearing winter gear, and I don't want to go down that road at this point. And then what we'll do is we'll lighten this up just a tiny little bit more, and then we'll get in here with the brush and actually force some shadows, add some extra highlighting in certain places to make some of these things pop. Okay. The other one. And same thing on this side. Oh, we need more paint than that. I think that's what's happening. Is we got too much flow improver there. Come on. There we go. even though there's not a whole lot of really interesting paint schemes for this, numberings I should say. You know, these guys came out so late. I've only seen one thing with a slogan on one of them. SU-100s are pretty much slogan free. They've already won the war. It's just a matter of when. These guys didn't come out until like October 44. Okay. I don't know how successful I'm going to be with trying to stay up to get this done because I'm pretty freaking tired. I am pretty freaking tired, so. So this vehicle is no machine gun. So it's actually ideal for skirmish because you need infantry to keep other infantry off this thing. No machine gun. Which this is a long range weapon. See what these guys look on the tracks here. On the lower body, I should say, not the tracks. All right, let me step away from it so I can see it. That's pretty good, I suppose. Oh. Holy smokes. Well, I may not be able to stay up tonight. All right, let's see if we can do some edging here. Got a couple handles here to grab onto. Well, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call it a night because I am falling asleep. My eyes are shutting down. So that was a short one. Sometimes you got a short one, and sometimes they're 5 hours long. So, well, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.